country is at crossroads. A constitutional crisis may be. The tug of war between the executive and the judiciary is threatening to tear the country asunder. And people are asking, what is the problem? Well, power, stupid. It's all about power. This morning, I want to address myself to the issue of power. Politics and power. But before that, because there are two problems, one is squarely power, the other one sits squarely with the judiciary. The judiciary has a small problem. The judiciary has a newfound freedom of boldness, of being assertive. In this excitement, perhaps cheered on by civil society and the politicians not happy with Uhuru's government and the Uhuru-Raila handshake. Perhaps in that excitement, and I have a lot of respect, tremendous respect, for the men and women in the judiciary, they run the risk of being Icarus in Greek mythology. The young man was given feathers to fly, but he got so excited and flew high and high and higher. He was told not to go further than he had gone, but he went higher. What happened? Because the feathers had been fixed using wax, the wax melted as he approached the sun, and the inevitable happened. He came down crashing. The judiciary must know they are wearing feathers put together by political wax. The reality and the truth of the matter, that law is subservient to politics. The sooner you understand that, the better. In fact, the doctrine of the separation of powers, even before Montesquieu in the 18th century, long before that, in ancient world in Egypt, in ancient Greece, put down by Aristotle in politics, in England in the 15th, 16th century, later on in America and elsewhere, nobody can categorically tell you there is such a thing as complete separation of powers. Neither can anybody tell you that there is a place where none exists. There must be some form of separation. How that plays out is what is politics. So I ask the judiciary, before I talk about power, to become more realistic. Because I am getting to power and I want to explain what power is. People fight to get power. People spend resources, spend sleepless nights, throw in everything to become president of a country or prime minister of a country. Why do you think people want power? There are two ways of understanding power. One is power to run government, to run a program. You have a dream for the UK and you want to be made prime minister, to put policies and execute those policies so that 50 years, 100 years, people say, when so-and-so was the prime minister of Britain, this is what they did. Power to execute government. But there's another form of power that was enjoyed by the kings, that the United States gives to its president and the presidents over the world. Power that comes with glory. There used to be something in wrestling, power and glory. There was a tag team, power and glory. The glory of being president. The glory of being the man using Air Force One. The glory of making everybody in the world tremble. Where Air Force One lands, that territory becomes America. We saw it when Obama came here. Power, that is the power. Air Force One in the skies with those ugly looking but powerful helicopters giving cover to Air Force One. That is the power. The power of the nuclear, the button. That is the power somebody is looking for. Now, for people who don't understand this, when somebody has struggled so hard to get that power, you cannot begin nipping it away, taking it away from him. That is why judicial all over the world are very careful and cautious. They are careful and cautious not to interfere with that power. They let politicians play their own games. Politicians oftentimes are engaged in bad manners, childish games, but let them sort out their own games. Periodically, they get to the people through elections to help them sort out the games and wars between politicians. The courts are very hesitant. Look at the American example. Look at how hesitant they were to enter into the Trump. The politicians, the political establishment in America wanted to get rid of Trump. He had slipped through their fingers in 2016 and become president. They were determined to remove him in 2020. The courts closed their eyes. Ditto 2000, Al Gore and Bush. Politics must be allowed to be politics. In very rare circumstances, should the judiciary interfere in politics. Politicians are men and women of bad manners. They tell lies all the time. Bush took America to genocide. They destroyed Iraq. The Americans, of course, have not impeached him. Tony Blair lied to the British people through Parliament. Actual letter, it was called his sexed his language, to convince the British people to allow the British forces join America in Iraq. He said lies. Politicians are bad manners, but they must sort out their bad manners themselves using politics. And as in the case of BBI, occasionally take it to the people, not through the normal ballot, but through a referendum. Let me demonstrate what I mean by power. William Samoei Ruto is a man who has worked so hard for himself from a young man in the 1990s, defeating Reuben Chesire, a powerhouse, coming all the way to be the king of Rift Valley, working through the ICC, together with Uhuru to get the presidency, defeating the immediate former prime minister and the immediate former vice president of the party. Combined, they beat them. They struggled the ICC through their first term. They struggled to win 2017. His eyes are on the ball. The ball for William Ruto is the president of the Republic of Kenya. They struggle with the demonstrations, threat for secession in the country after the 2017 election, plus the repeat election, all that. Eyes on the ball for the presidents after Uhuru. There's the issue of the swearing in of Raila. All that he struggled through. Eyes on the ball to be president of the Republic of Kenya. Then the handshake happens. And his dreams are shattered. William Ruto has not given up. He has fought so hard. Many, including me, thought immediately after the handshake, Raila and Uhuru together, Ruto was dead. Never. He's still strong. Men have surrounded him. And like Daniel in the den of lions, he's still surviving. This is a testimony of a tough man. But now, come 2022, the 9th of August, William Samoei Ruto stands and maybe becomes president. Some will say, God forbid. Now, after all that struggle, you want to tell me you want to curtail William Ruto's power to be president over small little things, over misbehavior of politicians? The judiciary can only come in, really, when the state is interfering with the freedoms and liberties of its citizens. But these other small executive misdeeds, let me tell the judiciary today, you are running too fast. You could be doing the right thing. But you must understand we are in a transition. No transition is ever smooth. Even a girl transiting from the mother's house to the husband's home, a transition is never easy. We are transiting from an old order to a new order. It's not easy. It comes with its challenges. We are transiting from the old constitution to the new constitution. It has its own challenges. There will be those who will try to resist. As you are umpires, as the judiciary, as the referee this game of transition, they have to be cautious. Because look here, if you are obstinate that you are right, and you force the executive, you want to remove the court of the executive. I end this by what Samuel told me. We used to call him Elder Namai at the University of Nairobi. He told us Tom Mboya visited them at Makerere, young excited Kenyans at Makerere, early 60s. And the Kenyatta government was beginning to misbehave. So they challenged Mboya. Mboya told them this: the governors must be allowed to govern. The governors must be allowed to govern. We laughed, and to these days I call Namai governor. So does Habwe and Owaka. We call him governor. The governor must be allowed to govern. With all the transgressions, unless they are so glaring, when you make the executive helpless, you want the president to appoint the judges. That is an interpretation of the High Court. The government disagrees. The Attorney General has appealed. The Chief Justice yesterday pronounces herself on the same, that is already wrong. This thing is at the appeal court. It should reach the Supreme Court. What do you want the executive to do? If the court is already showing open bias, why didn't the Chief Justice? She should not have heed to the pressure from the Mutungas and the Maragas, because this case could end up in the Supreme Court. How will it be executed in the Supreme Court when the Chief Justice herself already says Uhuru is wrong? The case is under appeal. You are therefore pushing the executive to a point, and let me tell you this. There are people who cannot get power. They are called civil society. They moderate power. But in this country, the civil society want to have power through the back door, which Kenyans have not given them. You will not subject a Kenyan to the struggle of becoming president. Then gadflies stop him from governing. That will not happen. And because that power will not move from the president to the judiciary, and the Bible tells you the people of Israel refused. God told them, please be ruled by judges. They said, no, we want kings. He told them kings will frustrate you. Politicians are always frustrating people. You moderate that. But if you want to take that power, and since you will not take it, if it moves from the president, it doesn't come to you, your guess is as good as mine. You could take this country to chaos, to anarchy, and the power could rest elsewhere. If that's what you want, go ahead. But I doubt that many Kenyans would want. Let politicians play politics. Interfere only when it is necessary. And in the event, when you interfere in politics, make quick decisions. You stop government from doing something, and that stay, that whatever is called, that order, stopping, lasts in the courts forever. How do you want the president to run the country? For heaven's sake, you are not running the government. You are moderating behavior of the citizens of our country, including the behavior between the citizens and their leaders. But do not interfere in the politics directly. This morning I had to say this. Not because of anything people might think I'm talking for Uhuru. I don't. I'm a Kenyan who is concerned that I can see we are heading in the wrong direction. If we don't take care, we are really playing around with danger as a country. Let us moderate whatever we do. Let the judiciary be judicious, but also cautious before they put their hand into matters that are political. Let them do soul searching. Think twice, think a lot before you interfere with the governance of the country.